It's very common for Latin Americans to kind of gather together in the morning, preferably, and they're drinking their little cafecito and they're eating their little like pastry and they're just talking about whatever is going on in their lives. And we wanted to bring that into the Widener community because I think we all would like to know a little bit more about each other. And, you know, we're a small knit community and we would benefit a lot from knowing about what we're all from.
This podcast is a production of Widener Law Commonwealth in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. For more information, visit commonwealthlaw.widener.edu/podcast.
Cafecito with LALSA is a student-run podcast where traditional and non-traditional law students come together to share their unique journeys through law school. We're going to hear the voices of both majority and minority law students as they discuss their challenges, trumps, and diverse perspectives on a wide range of topics. Tune in for a dynamic conversation that reflects the rich tapestry of the Widener Commonwealth Law students. So my name is Giselle Barragan. I'm a 3L at Widener, and I am Mexican from Guadalajara, Mexico, and also Michoacan. So 50-50. And introduce yourselves.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tommy Begley. I am a 3L, currently the treasurer of LALSA and the Animal Legal Defense Fund. This summer, I joined the Marine Corps and was commissioned a second lieutenant. And I'm half Irish American and half Peruvian on my mother's side.
Thank you for your service, Tommy.
Please don't say that.
So my name is Lilianel Mullenex. I am the Vice President for LALSA. I want to say first generation, but what is the definition of first generation? Is that like when your parents bring you to the U.S. and then you're the first generation to like do things? Is that what first generation is?
Yeah, I always had the impression that first generation. Yeah, I always had the impression, like, because you're like the first generation in your family to like be in the United States or born.
So to do law school.
Yeah,
okay,
that's true.
So maybe I'm not first generation. Maybe I'm just
Well, has
an immigrant.
has anyone in your family been to law school?
No, but like
to be in this country?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
because I wasn't born here. I was born in Mexico. I was born in Sinaloa, Mexico. Yeah, so I guess I'm not first generation.
I think
I'm
an
immigrant. I don't know. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
No, thank you guys for introducing yourselves. I'm so happy we got the opportunity to do this because Lily and I remember the day we were in our kitchen and we were like, what are we going to do for next semester? And I was like, you know what, let's do a podcast. And you were like all for it.
Yeah.
And you're like, let's do it. We were going to get our own little equipment, but thanks to Widener, they were very supportive. And we're doing it here. So I'm so excited. I'm really
excited. It's very exciting. Yeah. To see this come to like real life.
Yeah. And then I also want to talk about the cultural aspect of this podcast. So it's very customary, and I know that Lily can attest to this, and maybe Tommy, your family too, Peruvian, can also attest to it. It's very common for Latin Americans to kind of gather together in the morning, preferably, and they're drinking their little cafecito and they're eating their little like pastry and they're just talking about whatever is going on in their lives. And we wanted to bring that into the Widener community because I think we all would like to know a little bit more about each other. And, you know, we're a small knit community and we would benefit a lot from knowing about what we're all from.
I agree. Like in a lot of our cultures, community is a very important value. And we can never get too much community, especially in the law community. Wow, that sounded really cheesy. Wow.
Yeah,
it's true. And definitely like in like our native countries, cafecito in the morning or whenever is something that is like very like I feel like they live very like laid back. Like every time I visit, you see like old people on their porches or whatever, just watching people walk by and they'll say like buenos dias or
Yeah.
buenas tardes. And just, just people watching, and it's it makes me realize how fast we live in the US.
In Mexico, time stops. I don't know if you guys can attest to that. Just stops. You're living in the moment.
Or if you visit.
With me, my grandma, like born and raised in Peru, like taught me everything I had to know about my culture. Me and her always like kind of like butt heads in a sense, because like I'm always like in a rush. I'm from New Jersey. That's all we do. That's how we were raised.
Jersey too.
And I joined the Marines, where we rush to stop signs. Meanwhile, my grandma very much just wants to enjoy life, not rush through it.
I wish that's something that like we can incorporate in our lives easier.
Well, especially law school. So that'd be nice.
So, but that's something so admirable about them. That I wish I could be more patient like they are. And it's so funny, but like that's also too, like when you said like the people in the street that you see them and they're always like outside and they're like saying hi, like that's always what I remember like when I go to Mexico, and it's like so beautiful.
And it makes you feel like you're not just like a stranger walking in the street, like there's
like they acknowledge you. So because of that, there's a mission statement for LALSA that I really appreciate, and I think this is something that I think everybody could relate. It's in Spanish, so I'm gonna say it in Spanish and then I'm gonna say it in English. Nosotros como estudiantes de Derecho somos el pasado, el presente y el futuro de nuestra gente. That means that us law students are the past, the present, and the future of our people. And I think that is very true.
It's powerful.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about LALSA, and then we're going to get to the meat of the conversation because it's going to be...
There's some tea to spill.
Some tea. So LALSA, the Latin American Law Students Association, I love it. I think this is a great community. Widener is so supportive of our clubs, and I think for Latin American law students, we're here, we're far away from our homes, and I think it's a way that we can kind of connect and feel like we're kind of with family in a way, because we relate to other people. That's why I'm like telling everybody like, oh, please come join us, because like I know how it is to like feel by yourself when your family's like not here.
And especially when it's the first time that you've gone away from your family. Like a lot of us, like first generation students, we went to undergrad in our like hometowns or like nearby. So like I feel like a lot of us commuted, and then this is the first time like actually being away.
Being an adult more, so.
Grab your croissant, Lily. You're so good.
Oh, yeah.
Before it gets cold. But yeah, with LALSA, our goals is pretty much to make that community stronger and have those Latin American law students have a place to be safe and be themselves and be able to bring their culture. I think I would love to learn more about like everybody, all the other Latin American cultures as well, because I'm also very sheltered with just the Mexican culture. So I would love to know more about like everybody else's.
Yeah, I mean, I like LALSA for the opportunity for me to learn about other cultures, as well as give me initiative to research my own more, because my mom didn't really teach me anything. My grandma taught me some, and then I just like learned by, well, going to different places.
And that's another thing too. I feel like a lot of these cultures get lost in like when you're first generation or whatever, or second generation, like you get so like Americanized that like a lot of people don't like remember their roots or really have any knowledge. Or I know a lot of Hispanics who like don't speak Spanish, and I think that's like such a shame. Sorry, Tommy.
Yeah. Once again, thanks, Mom.
Real here, okay?
Like just the Spanish language, just knowing the language brings so much more like knowledge and like cultural awareness.
Yeah, believe me, I'm working on it. I'll have you know, Richie Valens, famous Mexican American singer from the 50s,
Yes.
did not speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the original La Bamba guy.
Oh, okay.
He just knew the song, but he
sing,
didn't speak
like,
it.
Puppy Love too?
Oh yeah, but like he didn't.
That was good.
Well, at least I
Was
think
it
so.
Puppy Love?
Yeah, no, I definitely can attest to that because I grew up. So it was, aquí somos hispanos en la casa. Like it was like here and at home, we're Mexican, we're Hispanic. And then when you go outside in the real world, where you kind of like get used to like the American,
Mm-hmm.
American way of life. And I think growing up, I got so used to being around like, I guess, white people. So it was hard for me to kind of get comfortable with being who I actually was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my job with mi tío Carlos, shout out to you, San Diego transfer, Lakewood, New Jersey, that I learned more about myself when I actually worked with Hispanic people. I actually understood more of the struggles and I got to learn more about my culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I will forever be grateful because now I can't identify myself as anybody other than Hispanic.
Right, yeah. And it's important to be like proud of that and not, embarrassed to say I'm Mexican.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And to attest to like your you saying that like at home you had to like speak Spanish and all this and like at school you had to like be American, and that kind of like thing contributes to like an identity crisis, especially as like a
Having to switch
teenager.
back and forth.
Yeah, like and then when you like go visit like Mexico, for example, like if you're Mexican, people there, they're like, oh, you're not like Mexican enough. And then when you come
Like,
to the
what does that
US,
mean?
they're like, oh, look at that Mexican or whatever,
Yeah. No, that was funny because my mom literally was like, well, you got to work on your Spanish because over there, they're not going to understand you.
Or they're like, make fun of you. Like if you have like an accent speaking Spanish.
My parents
They're
used
cruel, but it's
make
true.
fun of me because like
I remember this one girl from my undergrad, wasn't even Spanish, but like she like studied it, like got like a minor in it, like really good at it. Was like trying to like tell me how to like speak to like my when she heard me talking to my grandma on the phone.
wow.
It was
Like in Spanish?
It was bizarre, not gonna lie.
Oh,
Wow.
did your grandma like speak to you in Spanish?
Sometimes, like I mean, it wasn't consistent enough for her to fully stick. I mean, I can
Mhm.
still write in Spanish pretty well though.
That's really good.
Maybe
really
that's
good.
like a good way to like learn it faster. Also,
Mhm.
I think I heard Kobe Bryant learned Spanish from his mother-in-law watching telenovelas.
Oh, that's how
Yeah.
my grandma learned English.
Like just watching
Yeah,
telenovelas, he learned
soap operas.
Spanish. Yeah.
Just being around it all the time, I think practice
And
makes
being open
perfect.
to it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
open to like wanting to learn it.
Yeah. Especially like I can say that too, like in the reverse side when people from different countries come to the US, they really have to break through that barrier and of like being embarrassed or being like shy to try to speak the language, and it's okay to like mispronounce things and especially like on this side of the country, I feel like there's less diversity, so like a lot of people, they're less inviting or like, oh, like, what did you say? Like, if you don't say it perfectly with a good accent.
I hate when people say, this is America, speak English.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Hate when people say that. And I've heard that at jobs. And I literally look at that. Like, I look at people who say it and I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean,
do you hear yourself? Like,
America has always been a mixture of different cultures. I mean,
Yeah.
the Germans, Dutch, British, various native tribes, like
yeah, it's just ridiculous. And I think especially because we have minority parents who are considered minorities, it gets you like your blood boiling in a way, and you're like,
yeah, I mean, like not just minorities, but I'm sure we all have parents who have been a victim of
yeah,
things. Like my mother, she lived in Texas for a time, and her family was let's just say it wasn't as friendly of a state back then.
yeah. But I just want to like segue a little bit into the struggles. of being a first generation Latin American law
Or
student.
second.
Yeah, or
Or-
second, yeah.
Something like that. I mean,
Tommy's
Or
an
third or fourth or
exception.
fifth, whatever.
I'll speak. I have two sides of my family. What can I say?
So let's talk about first being, because if you think about it, first generation Latin American law student itself is kind of like two different things put together. So you're like first generation, and then you're Latin American law student.
A category within a category.
Yeah. So being first generation struggles, like what did you guys have to go through?
What didn't? That's the real question
Yeah.
is what didn't we have to go through?
Especially you, because you came here very young.
Yeah.
So you probably had it maybe like more traumatizing in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess so.
Interesting way
yeah.
to end college.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
It's all very traumatizing.
It's
Yeah.
a blur.
Yeah. I think you just have to be okay with being misunderstood a lot of the time. I think that's I think at first that really affects like your mental health, especially with like your family, because you want the support and the understanding, but the truth is that you're not going to get it, especially because a lot of our parents, they didn't even finish like high school, so they don't even know like what it is, like everything. Like when I first applied to undergrad, like I did everything on my own. So yeah, you just and they don't understand like how hard it is.
They don't. It's like, do you want to say something, Tom?
I just have a completely different viewpoint because
Okay. So let me finish off Lily's.
yeah,
and then-
let's
Yeah.
So I totally can agree with, having to do everything on your own, not knowing where to go to. And it's so ironic that like technically your parents like rely on you to kind of guide them.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And that's like a big, big struggle, I think, with first generation is like you're literally like you're driving the car and you're
and I think I don't know, I found myself having to be like, well, feeling like guilty and like selfish to like put myself first and be like, you know what, like I can't do that, like I need to focus on my career right now. You guys had your opportunity to like advance your career or to do whatever, and like I need to focus on mine, like this is my prime to do that. So it's tough because you really care and you really want to help, but at the same time
you're busy.
you need to set boundaries, and I think that's the hardest thing, setting boundaries with your loved ones and with everybody else, I think, too.
It's like it's like they try to understand, but they can't at the same time because it's different. And especially like your dad's a lawyer, so you kind of had a little more of like
it's interesting.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I actually did not want to be a lawyer. I want to be anything but a lawyer because of my dad. Okay, like saying, cool, that's your story, I'm gonna write my own. Long story short, I decided I wanted to become a criminal defense lawyer, but get starting in the U.S. Marine Corps. So I'm trying to do that path right now, trying to write my own story.
So what motivated you to come to law school if you wanted to? Did you have to come to law school in order for you to figure out you wanted to be in like the Marines?
No, the Marines I've always wanted to be since I was like maybe 8 years old.
Okay.
That's nice to hear, because a lot of the students that I talk to here, they're like, oh yeah, like I always wanted to be a lawyer since a little girl, like they told me that I was good at arguing or whatever, they had those stories, and I feel like I don't like I think like for me it was just like maybe almost like a last minute decision, honestly.
Oh God. But I mean, second year of college, that's when I started thinking, okay, lawyer. I mean, like and then maybe a month before the deadline for here, as I put in my application.
Yeah, I was always with the impression, like my parents always told me, go to school, and don't do what we do. And what they do is nothing to be ashamed of. It's something I'm super proud of them. And I always, like, even with, like, I think I told you the other day, there's like a little girl who was on her little tablet when we were walking up the class, and her parents, I guess, were cleaning. And I was like, you know what? That was me.
Yeah.
And I that stuck with me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to school and I have to, it's either doctor or lawyer. It has to be one of those two, because those are like the
no
highest.
pressure.
You want to be a professional.
Yeah. So I said, law school it is. And so this is one of the biggest reasons is that I wanted to come to law school, is not only because I love it and it fits, but I also want the American dream. That's what my parents came for.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I mean, big thing with my grandma is she constantly tells me to keep learning, to keep working hard. Like, it's crazy. On my dad's side, there's lawyers everywhere. It's kind of terrifying. But when it comes to the person who influenced me the most through my law school and through my education and everything, it's been my grandma, because she always taught me to work hard and do better. So
that's nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and Giselle, like, you watching that little girl, like, I bet that's like more motivation for you.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would see that and I would be like, oh my God,
this
is a sign to like continue and keep working hard, and we're almost there. So
every time I see all the this is the thing with every time I see like the maintenance people and all that stuff, I always treat them the same as a CEO, because I see my parents in it. So how I would want people to treat my parents is how I treat people.
Right. Yeah.
So so that's a big struggle with like being first generation, is you kind of have a pressure in a way. You got to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because your parents are like, you know what? I came here to give you a better life.
Yeah. And that's another, like, for me, that's what's been of more motivation to me, like growing up, seeing my parents, all the things that they went through, struggle or whatever. Just, I have to make it worth all their sacrifices.
Yeah.
Like, imagine giving up everything and coming to a completely different country where you don't know the language. Like, that's
you don't
that's
have
like crazy.
Resources.
Yeah, money, like nothing.
It's one of the biggest risks ever.
Yeah.
But
it's
one made
crazy.
it's one made out of love for family. That's the important thing.
And you think about it, you're like so inspired by them, because you're like, how did you do it? And it's like, if they didn't give up, why should we?
Exactly.
Like, they pass the torch on to us.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Yeah. So because of that, let's talk a little bit about like the mental health during law school generation. I could definitely talk about this, and I'm trying to be very open about mental health with anybody who wants to talk about it, because it's very taboo in the Hispanic culture. Like, they think that if you go see a psychiatrist, a therapist, you're in like the whack shack, you're crazy. And it's not like that at all. You just need a little bit of encouragement.
It's a traditional it's a stigma stemmed from traditional views that, well, we could say we could evolve and do better.
Yeah, I never had like mental health issues until I came to law school, because of just the stress, the anxiety, the imposter syndrome. So it's like, it's hard to adjust. And especially having, sometimes it took my parents a while for them to like understand, like, this is a real issue. Like, it's not, oh, you have nothing to do, that's why, you feel that way. It's like, no, it's like legit.
Yeah, I mean, it's very fast paced, and like I'm realizing Marine, lawyer, I'm welcoming this in, but like a big thing that my drill instructor kept saying during OCS over the summer was, you asked for this, while he was like having us carry our beds across the squad bay. I mean, like some cartoonish punishment or whatever.
Yeah.
We asked for this because like it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna have to like work through it.
Yeah, and I think definitely being in such like a stressful environment, and
Mhm.
constantly like having all this pressure definitely like brings out all your issues.
Yeah, and also like I guess also like it's hard for family to understand it too because their mental health issues or their anxiety or their stress was completely different from ours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe I look at it as like my parents probably saw it as like, you don't have a real reason to feel, stressed
I
and
mean,
stuff. But
yeah,
it's because back then their stress was maybe, for example, am I going to eat today?
yeah.
Or am I going to be able to sleep tonight or
Stress is
have a
relative
bed?
to generations.
Yeah,
and what's
so
happening.
so
I
it
mean,
took a while, which my parents are super supportive and they're like the best. But I hope with time more Hispanics are become more open to like, it's not just
I would hope, especially now, because I mean, just going to talk about the elephant in the room. Lockdowns and other factors kind of made a lot of like mental health issues come to surface, and
yeah.
we're seeing it in all levels of education, from kindergarten to law school.
I completely forgot about the lockdown, and we came to
I
law
wish I
school
could.
right after the
Oh, yeah.
lockdown. Thinking about it, like right after,
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
I just
first time I
really
saw
sad.
both you two, you're
Yeah.
wearing masks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something to
Wow.
think about.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That we've been in law school for too long.
Mhm.
No, good thing we're graduating.
Time is relative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for like what I've used to cope with like mental health, I found that like when I stop, that's when like all my mental health issues come. Because I'm very busy. Like I have like outside of law school, I have like a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of
Yeah, you
things,
do.
interests that I like to do. I have a dog. I have to, I have the responsibility of like walking her every day. I go to the gym. I recently got into pottery. So I have like a pottery wheel. And then like I have a boyfriend. So that's more time,
Yeah.
So like I find that if I stop, that if I just take a second to breathe, that's when everything hits me, and sometimes it's not good.
Yeah, I definitely I like to be busy too. Like I love to be busy because I feel like when I'm not busy I'm like thinking but what I do notice that I really love self-care a lot. I love the skincare, I love the makeup and just even though I don't wear it all the time, but I love, taking time to kind of make myself feel better. So I think that also helps me a little bit. And then also I also reach out to like professionals and like, hey, like I just need someone to talk to, just, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
It's really good, really courageous
Yeah.
to reach out when you need help.
Yeah,
Tommy,
I agree.
what do you do, Tommy?
There's a
don't
lot
so-
of things.
Yeah,
you do?
yeah, that's right. I mean, like a guy in my platoon try to like compare me to like a Renaissance man, because on my free time, which I try to make sure I do for the sake of my sanity.
Hmm.
Well, I've been doing martial arts, especially kickboxing, for about 20 years now. I play bass. I could write some piano. I'm okay at piano, but it's mostly bass and guitar and ukulele. I love hiking, but more than anything, being busy does like help, and also when it comes to like keeping myself moving, like keeping myself progressing, upgrading. The reason why I joined the Marines is because they have a really strong culture of self-improvement
Hmm.
that I really took to heart as a martial artist and as a law student, because we had to be the hardest workers, like of people in our age group, in our demographic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you chose the like hardest.
Yeah, you
Oh,
just
definitely. Oh, definitely. But I mean, like
The Marines is no joke.
oh yeah, but I mean, like other branches, you don't have to go through all the crazy training. Not everyone in the army is a soldier. Not every person in the Air Force is a pilot. but every Marine is a Marine.
That's true.
Wow.
That's really true. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who listened to this podcast. And I thank you guys for
Mhm.
being here and making this true, like
Yeah.
making this happen, because this is the first step, and we're going to have a lot of other orgs come in, and some days maybe Lily's going to be hosting, and then Tommy could be hosting,
Mhm.
and we're going to learn about them, and we have a very long wait list. So
Mhm.
we're trying to get everybody in.
Very exciting things to
Yeah,
come.
I want to thank
It'll be fun.
Professor. Yeah, I want to thank Professor Family for
Mhm.
getting us the connection with Stephanie. Stephanie is amazing,
Mhm.
and Brian too. Brian set this up, and if I'm missing anybody, thank you so much. Oh, Dean Teplitz with the Starbucks,
Yes.
amazing. But yeah, I am looking forward to getting to know you guys more and getting to know more of the other organizations as well, because I think with BALSA, which we should be having next month, we're gonna have like a different perspective on
Mhm.
a lot of the struggles that maybe they go through the same thing we do,
Yeah.
and
who
we don't
knows?
even know.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, some similarities, some differences, but either way, unity through just talking about these things.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I hope you guys had fun like I did. And I hope you guys enjoyed your coffee and your
Yeah.
treat.
Yeah.
But
Really good.
this feels like we're just like at home and just
Talking.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
so-
like a therapy session.
yeah, we're like we're
Letting
saying
it
how
all
we
out.
feel. Yeah.
I don't feel anything, but
Oh, okay.
okay.
He's dead in the inside already.
You can thank my drill instructors for that. Love those guys.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Widener University Commonwealth Law School is the Pennsylvania capital's only law school, with 3 specialized centers of legal scholarship through its Law and Government Institute, Environmental Law and Sustainability Center, and Business Advising Program. Widener Law Commonwealth offers an exceptional learning experience that is personal, practical, and professional. Visit commonwealthlaw.widener.edu for more information.